Namaste. So this video, which I wanted to make for some time actually, is about this channel, its purposes, its history, and its audience, or audiences, because there are several. So first of all, why am I doing this? Obviously, I'm not making money on it. I'm not even running any ads on the channel. I'm not selling anything or trying to get donations. So why am I doing this? Well, originally the idea was to simply document and clarify the different lessons and spiritual practices that I was going through in my own life. And then it gradually, over the time, morphed into like a tutorial on those practices. But really, the chief aim at all times was simply to clarify my own thinking. Because there's nothing that makes you straighten your head out faster than having to present to a bunch of diverse people and choose your words very carefully and, make everything clear and like that. So it really helped me over the last, 7 or 8 years now that this channel has been in existence. Actually longer than that, because some of the early videos were posted on a previous channel that I deleted and then started this one a little bit later. So it was kind of a catch-up where I posted a few things from the earlier channel, like Being in the World and some of the Cup of Tea videos. But anyway, the real thing is I want to expose to people these powerful spiritual methods and give people access to them in plain, down-to-earth, simple language. I don't always succeed. I'm sorry. I have, about a 12,000 to 15,000 word vocabulary. So sometimes I use big words. What can I do? You should have a dictionary and look up the words that you don't understand. And especially you should look up the words that you think you understand, but really don't. And those can throw you off more than anything. Little words like if, that, such, for, up. Those are the most commonly misunderstood words because they have so many definitions, but everybody assumes they know what they mean. The rule is if you can't recite the definition, you don't know what it means. So anyway, be careful. I'm liable to use a word like anti-disestablishmentarianism any minute. So who is the audience? Well, I've dealt with many different people in the course of running this channel. But according to Google, 80% or greater than 80% of the viewers are male. And less than 20% are female. Or maybe they just, self-identify as male or female. It's hard to say these days. But in any event, there are many more men than women watching this channel. Why? I can't figure it out. The only thing, my only theory on it is that somehow a masculine bias has crept into spiritual life, and that people think, even if it's not true, that you have to be a man to be spiritually successful. Of course, we look at spiritual organizations. Almost all of them are led by men. There's very few successful female gurus, Amma being a notable exception. And there may be more, but I don't know. So I think that pretty much indicates a male bias, just like in the corporate world. Almost all the CEOs are male. So there's something wrong there, but it's not up to me to fix it. I'm just presenting the truth as a direct, unbiased way as possible. So out of those 80% male and 20% female, 80% of those are in the age range of 25 to 34, and 20 to 25% in the range of 35 to 44, and almost zero outside of that, either younger than 25 or older than 45. So this is another head scratcher. I think around the age of 27, that's Saturn return. That's when Saturn comes around to its original position in your chart. And that's the age when all of your life issues, your major challenges and weaknesses come to the surface. And you're more or less forced to deal with them. And if you don't deal with them effectively, well, sorry, maybe next time. So the age of 27 is crucial. And the age range of people watching this channel is pretty much starts right around that age, 25. Sometimes you can feel it coming. Uh-oh. Deer in the headlights. So it's like 44. After 44, most people are completely crystallized. They stop growing. They stop learning. They don't do anything more than what they always did. But, as they say in Texas, if you do what you done, you'll get what you got. It means if you don't change your method of dealing with life as it changes, then you're going to get the same old results that you got before. So I'm a big believer in lifetime learning. And I've tried to exemplify that by throwing out everything and learning new spiritual practices and paths, even at an advanced age, mature age. And you should too. Keep that mind plastic. Keep it active. Don't let it settle into a rut. Anyway, as far as the countries, the geographical locations, about 28% of the watch time of these videos comes from the USA, and 8% from India. And all the rest of the world is down in the 1, 2, 3% area, mostly English-speaking countries. So, of course, I'm from USA originally. I don't identify as an American because I don't believe in countries. Countries are just a story we tell ourselves out of pride to keep ourselves apart and from having to help others and stuff like that. It's a very selfish kind of thing. I don't support it. But anyway, those people in that geographical area, I guess it's easier for them to hear what I'm saying because people have told me I have a strong American accent. Which actually I've worked very hard to overcome and make my speech as neutral as possible. But actually, the place where I grew up, people talk like this, and it's normal. So if I were to speak like that, you wouldn't understand anything. Not only that, a New York accent is usually associated with anything but spiritual life. So you got to become enlightened, all right? That's, that wouldn't go over too well. So anyway, most of our watching is done in the US. Now, here's something that really is weird. Out of all the views and the viewing time on this channel, only about 50% of it is from subscribers. Now we've got more than 700 subscribers, so you would think a greater percentage would be coming from the subscribers. And I think the reason why is that YouTube's search and discovery algorithms are so good that you don't really have to be a subscriber to keep up with what's going on the channel. It'll show videos of people that you watched in the past in your discovery pane. So that, I think, is clear. But the average view on this video is about 6 minutes, which is too bad because I make a conscious effort to put the really good stuff at the end. Oh, I should have said that before 6 minutes were up. Now all the people with short attention span are going to miss it. But oh well, they're going to miss it anyway. Because if you don't have a longer attention span, there are certain ideas that are just too big to fit in a short video. I used to make videos of an hour or even longer. Doesn't matter. People will watch the first 6 minutes and then click, they're gone. So by television and education, school, it's not really education, it's school, people have been trained to have short attention span. Not my problem. If you really learn how to do mantra yoga, you can easily overcome this. But people are lazy. They don't want to do any real, heavy sadhana. They just want to watch like people in the stands watching a football game or something. Yay. Anyway, now about the audience itself. The way I see it, there are about 4 divisions in the audience. And some are less loyal and some are more loyal than others. So I'll start with the least loyal, the curious people. They'll do a search and hit some keyword that's in one of the videos, and they'll check it out just out of curiosity. Oh, who's this guy? What's this all about? Well, those people are going to miss a lot because these videos are very context dependent. That means if you haven't watched the previous videos, you're going to have a hard time understanding what we're talking about, because we'll define our terms and so on in the beginning of a series and then use those terms without any explanation, assuming that you watched the first videos. That's been our policy all along. So, if you're just coming here with drive-by viewing of one of our videos, you probably won't get a lot out of it. You have to go back to the beginning, at least the beginning of the playlist, the beginning of the series, and watch from there. Then it'll make a lot more sense. Then there are the next more loyal are the selective viewers. They'll only watch one particular series or maybe just a few out of all the different series that we've made. Like the most popular series, believe it or not, is our Secret of the Golden Flower. And the next most popular is called After Enlightenment. So these were made back in my Buddhist period. And, Neo-Buddhism is very popular in America now. So we're getting a lot of views from that, really thousands of views in those 2 series. But they don't represent my point of view any longer. I leave them up because they must be useful for some people at the point where they're at in their spiritual life, just like those concepts and those methods were useful for me at a certain period of my life. So I leave them up, and hopefully those people will grow into a larger understanding. Then there's what I would call the sincere followers. And these are people who watch pretty much every video. And they are often picking things up in the middle also. Most of them haven't watched our early series, which is really necessary to understand how we got to this point. How did I get so far out? Well, it's step by step by step. One thing led to another, which led to another, and so on and so forth. So now we are deeply into South Indian mysticism. the Sri Vidya, the goddess worship, based on Advaita and the teachings of Shankaracharya, as represented in the modern days by Sri Chandra Shekharendra, also known as Mahaparivar. And he's very famous all over India, but almost unknown outside of it. So anyway, he's our inspiration for this latest exploration. And things just kept getting better and better. I mean, it's amazing, spiritual life. And finally, the most loyal, the most dedicated, the people with the most stickiest attention on this channel are my enemies. Now, first of all, I have to thank my enemies very much because they've taken all my bad karma. It's stated in one of the last verses of the Shiva Purana, that when someone speaks out in hatred against a realized soul, they take all his bad karma. There are actually three groups that take a realized soul's bad karma. His enemies who speak against him, the people who cheat him, like in the marketplace, and the animals that are around him who are accidentally killed by him. So, small insects and like that. Of course, we don't eat animals, so that's not a problem. But the enemies have really helped me become who I am today. And there are three groups of enemies. My ex-disciples, who all betrayed me when I moved from Vaidhi Bhakti to Raganuga Bhakti. When I moved from rules and regulations to spontaneous love. They didn't like that. They couldn't go there. They couldn't follow. And even though it's described in all the books, they rejected me. So, thanks very much for taking so much of my bad karma. You're all going to have to live with that for the rest of your life, if not longer. And then there's the Buddhists. See, because I used to teach Tantra, Kaula Tantra, sexual Tantra. And because of that, see, the Dalai Lama, you think he's a sweet, cuddly little old man, right? No, he's a vicious, very brutal politician. And he created a task force back in the 1990s after the Chogyam Trungpa scandal to suppress all Western teachers of Tantra. And of course, Westerners being who they are, this morphed into a vigilante outfit who targets anyone teaching Tantra, especially in a Buddhist context, and slanders them on the internet and stalks them and spreads black propaganda about them on different forums and stuff like that. Nice little Buddhists, right? And then there's just the haters. These are negative people, sociopathic people who just gotta hate somebody, anybody. So they pick me, right? I don't know why. So these three groups, the devotees, so-called, the Buddhists, so-called, and the haters, who's just going to hate anybody anyway. They come on and they give me a lot of static. You should see some of the comments I get from these people. And they want to present themselves as nice religious people, devotees, meditators, Buddhists. I think they're hypocrites. I feel sorry for them. But I'm very grateful for them because they've taken so much of my bad karma. There's nothing left. So these are the people who watch this channel. And I hope that if anyone is contacted by any of these haters spreading black propaganda about me, Like anyone who makes a comment on this channel, they may look you up and try to send you a message or something like that. Please get in touch with me so I can pass the information on to my legal team. Now, finally, see, I saved the best for the end. If you have any feedback, any questions, or if you want to be introduced to a Sri Vidya guru who can initiate you, or if you have a request, I've got, I don't know, a dozen or more unfinished series that I dropped because I felt people weren't interested. I wasn't getting any comments, I wasn't getting any feedback on them. So if you like those series and you want to continue those series, let me know. You know, I'm open to feedback. I'm open to questions. I'm open to suggestions on how to improve or how to make this site, this channel, more beneficial for you. Aum Tat Sat. Aum Harihi Aum.